Dear students, welcome back to one more session of agricultural microbiology, and we are continuing with biofertilizers. Today we are going to talk about the symbiotic nitrogen fixer Frankia, which is otherwise also known as a actinorhizae. Frankia is, if you go to look into the picture, you will feel like it is a fungus, but in fact it is not a fungus. It is a actinomycetes or a filamentous bacteria, which can fix nitrogen, and it is mainly associated with woody shrubs. So it occurs as a symbiotic nitrogen fixer in woody shrubs and enable them to fix atmospheric nitrogen to ammonia. If you go to look this actinomycete frankia, since it has been associated with the plants, it is also known as an actinorhizae. And it is been found to produce non-motile spores in a sporogenous body, and almost 8 families of higher non-leguminous plants, including the alder trees and all that, these are being found to be associated with frankia. And now this is a nodule of alder of frankia associated with the alder plant, and this actinomycete frankia is microaerophilic and it is fixing atmospheric nitrogen. The frankia symbionts, these bacteria, they fix nitrogen. Exactly. Yeah. They fix nitrogen so efficiently that the plant, such as an alder, can grow in the absence of even combined nitrogen. Even if the nitrate is not there in the soil, the plant, which has been associated with frankia, can grow because frankia would fix sufficient amount of nitrogen from the atmosphere so that the plant can grow. And within the nodule, these bacteria form branching hyphae with the globular vesicles at their ends, which may be the sites of nitrogen fixation. And similar to the other nitrogen fixers, the nitrogenase is also similar to that of the rhizobium over here, and it is considered to be oxygen sensitive, and it requires molybdenum and cobalt. So the main difference between a frankia and a rhizobium, frankia is a type of a bacteria. It's a bacteria rhizobium which has been associated. But in the case of frankia, it's an actinomycete named as frankia, which has been, and these are mainly been associated with non-leguminous plants of the higher order. Now you can look a picture of frankia which has been associated with trees and shrubs. Now this is Ceanothus. Okay. It is, you can see that it is as large as, sometimes it might be as large as a baseball, and sometimes in casuarina, okay, it can occur as a saucer ball size also. So the size of this nodules will vary. In some plants, they will grow as big as the baseballs, and sometimes even a soccer ball size also the frankia will be associated. So it's called as actinorhizae because it is an actinomycete which has been associated with a non-leguminous plant, and it has a nitrogen fixing ability. Now we are going to move on to the free living nitrogen fixers. If you go to consider the free living nitrogen fixers, they are non-symbiotic in association and they can live in the soil even without associating with the plants. And they include members of Acetobacter, Klebsiella, Clostridium and Methanococcus. And among these, Clostridium is being found to be anaerobic, while the remaining are being considered to be as aerobic members of aerobic free-living nitrogen fixers. Now, since Acetobacter is the most commonly used free-living nitrogen fixer, I am considering or concentrating this class on the non-symbiotic diazotropy contributed by Acetobacter. Now, this is a image what I got for the after the Google search of Acetobacter nitrogen fixation, and you can see that when Acetobacter treated plants can grow very far big, like they grow very efficiently compared to the control plants. And when you search Acetobacter is quite available in either powdered form or in liquid form. In different forms, it is available as a common biofertilizer. Now, what is a diazotrop? Of course, that's quite clear. A nitrogen fixing bacteria is called a diazotrop. And Acetobacter, it serves as a free living or a non symbiotic diazotrop. If you go to the look into the features of Acetobacter, it is pleomorphic in nature. That is, it has a shape which will range from rod to cocoid shape, and sometimes they can form cysts as the culture ages. And they are aerobic and fix nitrogen non-symbiotically. And you can see that in the soil as well as in the water. And what is the cyst? A cyst is something which has been formed during nutrient limitation, and it has been found to be resistant to desiccation also, and it is less tolerant to environmental stresses such as heat and UV compared to that of the normal spores. And these cells will have an outer coating, and they store an abundance of polyhydroxybutyrate also. So that's the feature of Acetobacter. It is found to be pleomorphic, free living nitrogen fixer, which will fix nitrogen in the atmosphere. It need not be associated with the plants. It will be found in the soil itself. Now let's move on. We are coming to the next type of diisotropy called the associative nitrogen fixation. Now, associative nitrogen fixation, it is a non-symbiotic nitrogen fixation. What is this basically? When the bacteria live in close association with the roots of certain cereals as well as grasses, etc., sometimes they can fix nitrogen. And this association is a loose mutualism type. It doesn't mean that even without associating with them also they can live, and it's a temporary or a transient type of association. And when they fix nitrogen, when they have been associated with such plants, that is refers to as the associative nitrogen fixation. And they can be either located in the rhizosphere or might be in the soil, or as well as in the soil, or sometimes they might be associated with the root surfaces or the rhizosphere, rhizoplanes also. So the associative nitrogen fixation is nothing but a loose association with or between the roots of certain plants and certain nitrogen fixing bacteria, and they can fix nitrogen and provide it into the roots. And sometimes what happens, carbohydrates might be given back to the bacteria also. Now, if you go to look this process, what is it? You can see that it's a process where nitrogen gas is converted to ammonia by the bacteria, which have a casual association with the plants. That is, it's not a must association, it's a casual association. And the two partners lacking lasting, they do not have lasting interdependence. That is, only for a small period they get associated. And you can see that in different plants like sugarcane, grasses, wheat and all that, associative symbiosis or associative nitrogen fixation has been found to be is found. And when it gets associated with a plant, they might form lumps and the bacteria might lose mobility sometimes. And often you can see that it's not clearly distinguishable. Like sometimes it's not easy to distinguish between a free living nitrogen fixer as well as an associative nitrogen fixer. And it's not easy sometimes. So you can see that some members of Acetobacter can also carry out associative nitrogen fixation, though Acetobacter is considered to be as a free living nitrogen fixer. But the most predominant member which can be attributed to associative nitrogen fixation is Azospirillum as well as Acetobacter. The spelling is different. You see ACETO is different from Acetobacter. So associative nitrogen fixation, you can mainly consider Azospirillum and Acetobacter. And you can also see in sugarcane another organism called the Beijeringia is also been found to be associated with associative, or it is involved in associative nitrogen fixation. So, azospirillum being the most important member of associative nitrogen fixation, we'll just move on to some of the details. It's a gram-negative, microaerophilic, non-fermentative nitrogen fixing bacteria of Rhodospiralaceae, and it will promote the plant growth, and it is mainly found in the rhizosphere of most important crop plants, and it will enable to fix nitrogen under the conditions of microaerophilic nature. And the studies indicate that the inoculation of azospirillum will increase the crop yield. So when azospirillum is associated with the roots, what happens? It provides nutrients. It provides alterations in the secondary metabolites. So sometimes they might get biocontrol and disease resistance, and various other hormonal changes also do happen in the plant, and it gets promoted, or the plant growth is being promoted. So these are the features which we have of azospirillum. And with this, we come to an end of this session of diazotropy. Thank you for now.